Hello there. Have I got the volume down? Where's it gone? Took a while to get that up on screen. Yeah, that's sorted. Right, I'm going to be playing with the Festival Dollies, but I've got to decide, or we've got to decide, which one. And I've been asked a few times, because I haven't done for a while, colouring in. So it's going to be a little bit of a colouring in. So if you have got them, I will tell you what colours I'm using. I'm using a mixture of Faber-Castell, Luminous and Prismacolors to colour these in. And I'm going to use craft card, but which one do we colour in? So we have Love, Hope and Harmony. So this one is Love. So that's Love. And then we have Hope. And then we have Harmony. So I've just got to decide which one to go for. Harmony, Love and Hope. Love. Love, says Mary. I've got my coffee, just got to have that. Harmony, Alison says. See, we'll have a group vote and see. So we've got 2 for Love. I presume, Jane, you were voting for Love. 2 for Love. And 1 for Harmony. Gee, how hot is it with you guys? And can you hear my fan is the next question. Or is the sound okay? Maybe I should have put the sound up so I could hear. Oh, yes. Is the sound okay, guys? Or do I need to turn my fan off? Pray you say we don't need to turn the fan off. We don't get this in the UK that often, do we? So, hot. Hello, Caroline. You're right, Alison, it is very hot. So at the moment, I think Love is in the lead. Love is in the lead. Do 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 do. Can hear you over the fan. Sound okay? Brilliant. Okay, let's make a start. So, group decision, going with Love. Everybody needs a little bit of love. I can always shout anyway if you want, guys. I don't really want to turn the fan off. It was 32, and oh no, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculousy. So we're going to go with Love. So let's put them to there. And are we happy with the colours that I've done? So I could kind of just choose to go with exactly the same thing again, ish. I think go with the same thing again. And then I want to fill it out and actually make a card out of them. But that isn't going to happen tonight. It isn't going to happen tonight. So, start off with the faithful stamp press. And let's get the stamp out. So the stamp set comes, obviously, with Love. Let's pop her there. So she can just sit there looking all pretty. Maybe a little bit higher up, because I might want to... Mind you, I was thinking if I was going to put some flowers on, I'll put the flowers on first. It's a fab set. She comes with the clouds, she comes with little borders, she comes with little toadstools, bunch of flowers, some extra flowers and things. She's got some little raindrops in there as well. There's a bow, and then the words. Wish upon a star. Yeah, wish upon a star, wish upon a star, wish upon a star, and I've got them mixed up. So, always be free. Wish upon a star and always be free. I always put the words back on my sheets in the wrong places. I just grab them and do them. So, they're lovely. There is a special offer of buy 3 for 2 on the website. So, if I get a chance, I might pop that link in. There we go. So with her being a decent sized stamp, I roll her off and roll her back on to make sure there's no air bubbles in there. And I call that the dirty snowman effect. And the reason for that is because, well, I've got a little print on there. I did a snowman once where you don't want anything in the centre, and there was a little kind of air bubble underneath where I trapped the air, and I ended up like the snowman had a dirty face. Didn't look good. Ended up having to put loads of glitter on to disguise it. But there's ways around these things. So at the moment, my favourite ink pad at the moment is the Hero Arts one for stamping with, and the reason why, and this is the intense black, and the reason why this, I want to get more colours in this, is because it's a hybrid. So if I want to use alcohol pens, I can do. If I want to use pencils, I can do. If I want to use watercolour, I can do. It means I don't have to think about it. I mean, said that, I've got lots of ink pads that I really like using, but this one's just making it easier for me, so my brain doesn't have to think, and that's really good in this weather. So I will stamp her up twice because she's on what's it called, kraft card, and it kind of soaks up a little bit more of the ink, so it kind of looks a little bit sort of grayer in areas, but I always like to redo the eyes, so we'll redo her eyes for sure. Now, because I'm using pencils, if I want to go back in, this is a little tip, if I want to go back in and I've gone over the top of it and you've hidden the line art and you want that line art back there, leave it in the stamp press or butt it up to the edge so you know to go back in there, and leave your stamp where it is, so then you can go back and you can actually ink it back up over the top. I want a little bit more black on that one, haven't pressed down, should be really concentrating on what I'm doing. Thank you, Jane, thank you ever so much for doing that, my lovely, thank you. Get that. So there we go, happy with that. I think she looks really cool. It's a lovely image. The other one to do is, if you don't want to go back in and you don't want to lose any of that fine detail, is to stamp and emboss it, obviously. Well, some people don't know, but you know, if you stamp and emboss it, then it's going to be raised and you just be colouring to it, and it also can give you a nicer effect. Right, shall we get ready to craft? Now, bear in mind that if I leave this in here, I'm working on a soft surface as well. So you know it's up. Found you at last. Yeah, I've been doing them, Kim. I've been doing them on the main page opposed to in the group. I don't know why. I think something happened in the group at one point and it was tricky to do. So you know, hey ho. So, but you found us. You found us. I should say actually in the post whether or not I'm doing it in the group or on the main page. But I think because it's on the main page, I can actually download it easier, and then I can pop it on the YouTube channel. So that's one reason. Whereas when it's in the group, I can't share, and it can't be shared out neither. Not that I beg anybody to share or anything, but yeah, have been moaned at about that. So just trying to appease. So okay, the colours that I'm going to use for the face are these ones, which I will get in a minute. Oh, and we'll have that one as well. I've actually got two types of these. I've got one which is a luminous one, and one which is a Prismacolor one, and these are the clear blenders. Almost, but I'll also do some blending with the white, but they're also a little bit like you know, your paper tortillon sticks where you're blending. They're a little bit like them, but it's not. It's an actual clear pencil. Sounds bizarre, doesn't it? But it works. Share it into the group for you. Thank you. I would have shared it afterwards, because I think if people are on the group, in the group and in here, I won't be able to see their comments unless I get another screen up, and it's bad enough me keeping up with one screen. But thanks guys, right, so colours are, I think this is, oh no, that was for another one. Move that one to one side. The colours are, I think I wrote them down. I did on the back here. The colours are, in the Prismacolors, it is PC1017, PC1019, and PC1093 and 1031. Those are the colours that I'm using for the face. Okie dokie. So, shall we make a start? I think we shall. I don't expect loads to be in tonight, because if I didn't plan to do this, I think I would be outside. Now it's got a little bit cooler. But I certainly wasn't going out there today, because I would just feel a little bit like a vampire. So I'm going to start with the lightest one, which is 1093. And I'm going to do the T-zone, you know, like when we do our makeup. So we're going to have a little bit of light on her nose, only a little bit, And this is really softly, because if I go in too hard and too heavy with my pencils, I've got nowhere to blend and nowhere to add anything else. I'm going to do a little bit actually underneath her eye, so it looks really subtle. I don't know what to say. And you see, there's hardly anything there at the moment. So, hi Linda. Yeah, I've just said I've started doing more of them actually on the main page. Then I can share it into the group as well, but I could share it elsewhere, and I can download it easier to, like, what's it called, YouTube and stuff. So I'm going to have a little bit up here as well, so it's kind of like the T-zone. So here we go. So that's it for the light at the moment, but I will come back to that one. We can go out. So we have big fires, but oh gee, no, seen something on the Focus Thunderstorm. Whew, seen something on the news about fires at the moment. So I'm going to take the middle one, which is this is called Clear Rose. What a nice name, Clear Rose. It's kind of clear rosy. It's 1017, and I'm just going to do around the outside edge. You know, any of you guys who've seen me do this before, it always looks really, really strange until you put the hair on. As I say, this is the piece that I've done, and I'm working in the same principle. Always looks strange, but you just keep going until you're happy with things. And that's with all crafting, really. You know, if you don't think it's done, you pop something else on. Just work at it, change things. Made a mistake, cover it up with something else. I don't throw things in the bin, because that's how we learn techniques and how to cover things up. So I'm just going to go around the outside. And again, I'm not filling totally the area, so I'm going nice and soft with my pressure on here. I am kind of going round and round in circles a little bit. I don't always do that, but I'm not going too heavy in one area that it fills it in completely. I'm going to have a little bit on a neck of this same colour as well, so it's going to be a little bit of warmth underneath the chin and just down the edge. Maybe we'll have a little bit above her top over here, because I can. Okay, and again, I'll come back to that colour, and I'm also thinking this one is going to be really, really cool for her cheeks, so we'll give her a little bit of cheekage. So we'll start with some cheeks in there, a little bit of cheeks in there, soft, so she doesn't look like she's been smacked in the face, because that would be rude. So round and round in circles. There's lots of areas in the parchment that I haven't coloured in there, so you can still see the parchment, but I'll hold it up just so that you can see. Loads of areas left to add in. Always looks really, really scary. Can say what you are. Oh, can you say what you are using? Again, yes, I can. And does that mean the colours? So the stamp sets to start off with is Hope. Hi Anne-Marie, it is Hope. This is Hope. So Anne-Marie's in, she's the designer. This is Hope, that's the stamp set that I'm using. Sorry, not Hope, Love, the stamp set that I'm using. All kerfuffled. So we did a choice right at the beginning, and I'm using a mixture of Faber-Castell pencils and Prismacolor pencils and the Luminate pencils as well. So all pencils today. If I'm working on white, I usually do a watercolour to start off with, so I don't have to do too heavy on the pencils. Or I'll use alcohol pens, and then I'll go in with the pencils afterwards. Hi Philippa. So the colours that I've chose for the face are, I think one is actually, the colours that I've chose for the face is PC1, which is, these are all Prisma, these ones, PC 1093, 1017, yeah, and 1031, 1019. So I can hold that up, and at some point you might be able to take a screenshot, or you can write it down. So I'll leave that there for a couple of minutes. Hello Julia, how are you doing, lovely? Bet it's cooler up your neck of the woods. So those are the four that I'm using for the face, if you can see those. But you can rewind later when it goes live properly. So we started with just giving it like a T-zone to start off with, just underneath the eyes and down the nose. Maybe I'll put just a little touch on the chin. And then I'm going in Then I went in with the darkest one for the outside round here and added a little bit to her cheeks as well and underneath. So now I'm going to work it with a medium one, which is the 1017. Let's get busy with this. So I'm just going to add a little bit more up here, and we're going to add a little bit to the cheeks. So we're kind of mixing those colours together, almost like you do with paints really. Just a little bit more of those colours. And then I'm going to do a little line above her eye, gently, and down her nose. Always looks really strange to start off with. So almost like you're putting your eyeshadow on. But then of course I've got to put a nose in so that you can see that little bit of the shadow on her nose and around there. And we will blend that out later. So again on this side, I always find this side easier because I'm right-handed. So just go slow and steady with this. There's a magic thing called a rubber, but there's also a really cool thing called a blender or a white pencil, which will erase little bits or blend it in a little bit better. But you'll see as we get going with it. So I'm just doing little eyes. It's a really weird shape. If I draw it out on the back of the one that I've done before, it's a shape a little bit like that. There we go. Don't say what you think it's going to be. But that, and then we'll blend that out to knock the colour back. Waiting for live streaming. What the heck? Please don't start playing up with internet. So get a little bit more colour on there, and we'll go back to the lightest one now and try and blend those colours, you guys. A little bit on. I don't want to go too heavy on their eyes because I want to put colour in there. So a little bit on the cheeks and a little bit down here. So this light colour is kind of a base layer. We're not going to fill in all the parchment. You're welcome, Lynn. Linda. Lynn? Shortening your name, how rude. There we go. So she's looking very pasty now. She's looking like she needs a sun. Hi, Lou. And we will just give her a little bit of lip colour. So her lip colour is going to be 1017. But again, I'm not going to fill it in too much. Got there. Just a little bit of lip colour. And then we're going to add a little bit of pink, which is the, what's it called? The Rose Beige, which is 1019. So again, a little bit more on the cheeks. Little tiny touch on the cheeks, a little bit around her forehead, tiny touch on her head, so she's not too pasty to start off with. Down there, just working it slowly. If you go in too heavy-handed, you put too much colour down, it always looks really scary and freaky until you get going. I mean, you've seen what the finished one's like, and I'm not doing anything much different to that. Hi, Barbara. So got that one, and let's go with the darkest one, which we went around the outside edge, and we'll just add a little bit more colour to her cheeks so she's a little bit rosy. And I really am going round in sort of bigger circles than I would normally do, because I want this to be a little bit of blusher, but I want to tone it down by adding the lighter colour on top of it. So I'm just kind of building up the layers very loosely indeed. No, don't expect it to look like something straight away until you've built them colours up. If this crafting where you take your time on it, I love doing this because I can drift off into a world of my own and just sit and colour for a while. But if you want fast cast, you're better off with alcohol inks. So it's, you know, that's faster. But it just depends whether or not this is the sort of thing that you would like to do. But I will go back to doing a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of watercolour, just adding a touch underneath there. And again, she still looks really scary. Let's use a little bit of that warm just on her eye there, just to warm it up. Still looks like she's been smacked in the eyes now. How scary is that? Now it's a mouthful of coffee, guys. You still with me? So, yeah. Maybe I should move the stamp off and put the finished one on there. At least you can see something that where it's going to actually look like. So going to start to sort of blend this together a little bit more by going in with the lightest colour. So love it on that colour card. Yeah, it's great on craft card, but you do have to work with it a little bit different. So I'm going in with the lightest colour now, which is 1093, and I'm going to start to kind of tone a blusher down. So it's like you just put a dollop on, like Aunt's Aunt Sally, was it? Was it Aunt Sally? Aunt Sally and Wales Gummidge? You know, like round circles. So now I'm going to like blend it in a little bit. You know, like you've gone too heavy on the blusher and you're giving it a rub, but instead what you do is you put a lighter colour on. If I go too light, I can always go back and add more if I don't completely cover it. I'm one that loves getting lost in colouring. Oh, it's a great place to go, isn't it? Especially when somebody's talking absolute tripe about what's on the news and you don't really want to hear, or if you're not into sports and stuff and telling you what's going on in the world, you can just drift off into a world of your own. So I'm just toning down some of that colour. Ooh, dear me, I've just got a nasty bit of indigestion. Oh, 1 second, I need a mouthful of water. Oh. So, her cheeks are starting to look a little bit better, bringing it down, but carrying on with the same one, and we're blending it in. Same over the other side, so if I do one side, I'll try and marry up the other side so she's not sort of wonky donkey. I am actually going to give her Freckles, and Freckles is a good kind of, it's quite nice, quite pretty, because some people do like Freckles, but Freckles is, I'm going to use 1017 now, and add some more definition to her nose. There you go, just a little bit on there. Freckles is a good way to disguise your colouring if you're not overly happy with it. You know, it just totally depends on whether or not you've walked away and come back from it. So let's move a little bit faster and blend them colours in. Also, I want to higher her cheeks a little bit higher as well. So let's go back to the darker one. Could never put brushes on properly. It always looks like stripies across my face. Blusher, not brushes. Oh gosh. Oh no, I'm not a blusher person. I think the first time I put blusher on, I think probably my mum said I look like she either said I look like Aunt Sally, or she said, just tiring this up, I look like one of the ladies of the night. That's what I said. That's quite calmed down. So no, I'm not a blush person. I don't mind the bronzing pearls. Keep going for that one. I think I might. Did I use that one before? I don't think I did. I don't know why I've got the pink. Yeah, I think I might do. No, I didn't. I think I used it for the cheeks. Right, just tone that down again with the medium one. Going over the top. So I'm building a blusher up. Of course, I would never spend that much time on my own makeup. That's for sure. So I'm there, and we're now getting to the point when I've probably got enough pencil on there. So what I'm going to do now is the clear one that I spoke about, which is hiding over here. So you could use a turtle on stick if you've got that. You can also use a white, which we're going to do with the hair. I'm going to blend these colours together. This is actually, I'll just move it unless it picks up some of the ink. Look, it's not putting anything on there. It's a blender one, so it's colourless. So if you Google searching it, it's a colourless blender by Prismacolor. There is a few different ones. I also have one by Luminance as well. So let's blend those in together. So round and round in circles. And once you've done this, you can actually go back over the top and you can add more colour to it, which a lot of the time when you blend, you can't, but you can actually add a little bit more to it. So just going to blend them in, which I found, if you haven't laid down too much. So let's get her cheeks and around under here. I want to put a little bit of dark where it's a word I can never remember, is the bit that goes between the nose and the lips, that little bit that dints in. So I'm just going to use 1017, just a tiny touch there, and we'll have a tiny little bit just under her chin there. Why not? You could do a half circle if you want. I'm just putting a tiny little shadow, and then we'll concentrate on the top bit here. Let's blend them in a little bit more. There we go. So down around in circles. So you can see now that we're starting to cover up that black because the colour is laying down on top of it, but not too solid. And that's why I say, if you wanted that black outline to go back in there, have the stamp where, you know, still in the stamp press. Keep your paper where it is, or butt it up to the edge so you can go back in and you can stamp that. So let's get her skin all softened up. We've got to blend them together. So we're not laying any colour down whatsoever, we're just using the colourless blender over the top to blend those colours together. And the great thing about that is we use actually a lot less pencils, so your pencils go longer. And especially when we're doing the face on a craft card, you can actually get away with using a lot less because you've already got sort of a base layer of a tanny colour. I'll get that. Now let's start to put some let's start to put some, what's it called? I think I want a bit more colour down there. Drag that down a bit. Some colour to her eyes. So I'm going to take my Luminance pencil, which I absolutely love. I love them, but I love the white, and I love mixing them in. My mum used to pinch my cheeks. You know, many years ago, they used to like prick their fingers and put blood on their cheeks. And then the other one was using like berries and things. I think it's quite barbaric actually, pricking yourself just to make your cheeks look pink. You go in and we'll add the two. I'll add the two little little black dots, which are there. Not black dots, white dots still in there. Into her eye first, and then I'm going to do the white first, because if I do the colour of her eye first, and I go in with my white, it may transfer over. So I'd rather do the white first. So let's get the white on there first. I have to keep telling myself the bottom bit is the white bit, not the middle bit. Get that down. I'm not going all the way to the edge because I want to add a little bit of pink at the edge here. Just like if you looked in the mirror, you'd see a little bit pink. Obviously, she's not going to look totally realistic, but I'm just going to add a little tiny touch of pink in the corner here and in this corner, and we do exactly the same at the outside edge. And that was using the 1031 on there. I find slapping someone makes the cheeks go pink. That's funny, Kate. Yes, it probably will do. You know I like doing Facebook Lives because you lot just crack me up. I've just added a little bit of colour to the bottom there, and I'll use my colourless blender because I might as well go all the way along. Oh dear. I swear you put these things in for me to read out loud. Right, so I'm actually going to add some freckles to her face. Look how different she looks, but it's the very same technique as what I did with the other one. But as soon as you start to get, I can't have my hands. Oh dear. As soon as you start to get some colour on her hair, as soon as you start to get some colour on her eyes, she totally transforms. So she looks really pasty. I could just imagine Lou with her blusher on like Adam and the Ants. What was it? Prince Charmain? Oh, Stand and Deliver. That was the one. Gee, that's taking me back to my childhood. Just adding a little touch more to lips. Right, let's go in with green for our eyes. So what I'm going to do for our eyes is I'm going to use two greens. One is a polymer chroma or Faber-Castell, and that is, what number are you, matey? That is 174. And then the Prismacolor is 908. Okay, so we've got a dark one, and what I'm going to do with the dark one, one thing that I will tell you about the difference between the two is the Faber-Castell is a harder pencil, which is great for getting really fine lines. So you don't need to, it doesn't sort of wear down as quick as the Prismacolor, but also you have to blend it a little bit more. And whereas the Prismacolor is softer, that's why I love using this pencil sharpener, because the Derwent one, because you get a really nice fine point, but you've got to be gentle on it or else it just knocks that point off. He's still touring. Brilliant. How old will he be now? Good for him. So then that was my darker one. I'm going to go in with my lighter colour just underneath. Again, I'm not going to do the whole section of the eyeball. I'm going to leave a little bit and I'm going to come in with my white pencil then. So get that colour on. So this one I'm having to press a little bit harder to get that colour on there, because as I said, it's the Faber-Castell one, which is a harder pencil. And one of the things that I test with my pencils is I don't want them to be too soft. If they're too soft, I'm forever sharpening. And when you're sharpening that much, you lose a lot of the pencil. So I'm now going to go in with the white, but I touch down here and just slightly go over the top, and the white again is the luminance. So it'll just change, almost make it look like she's got a little bit of a sparkler in her eye, and I haven't coloured it in one solid colour, and I'm going to leave that as is. Can't believe he's still touring. Let's got Adam and the Ants. Oh, that song in my head now. Prince Charmain, Prince Charmain. Right, okay, let's give her some makeup, which will start to warm her face back up, and then we can go back and add bits and pieces. So I am going to use a couple of browns. So I've got two browns here. One is a dark one, which is 947, which is dark umber, which is the Prismacolor. And then I have a Faber-Castell one, which is number I can't even see it. Where are you? Ooh, 283. Okay, so we start with the lighter one, and we're giving her some eyeshadow. So I'm going to start at the inner bit of her eye, go around with the lids. I'm not doing the whole section, so just working that slowly, leaving somewhere for the rest of the colour to go. We'll go up and around. I mean, you can do it as far up as you want, and we'll put some eyeshadow on us. We'll put our eyebrows back in as well, which always looks pretty good. It's like, I suppose, when you're putting your foundation on and you've gone over your eyebrows and made it all go sort of wishy-washy, you're then going to go back in with pencil. So the darker colour, which is the Prismacolor one, I'm going to put our eyebrows back in. There we go. And we'll put our eyelashes back in with this one in a minute when we blend it out. We won't do that until I'm happy with her eyes. Going with the darker one in the centre here, just bring it over so we've got a little bit of that colour and a little bit of the darker one. It's up to you. You don't have to put makeup in there. You can just put shadows. Could have been pink, could have been blue, could have been anything. Right. You still with me, guys? Oh. It's always quiet on the chat when I'm colouring. You drift off the same as I drift off. What I'm going to do now is go back to my original facial ones, and I'm going to use the 1017. So it's kind of a peachy brown, and I'm going to just pull that colour up and over her eyebrows. So practice with your colours, blending them on a piece of paper to get colours that work for you, and always write down the numbers if they've got numbers or names or which brand it is, and then you've got something to refer back to. That's why I like all my little notebook books and keepsakes and things, and keep them for me. There you go. I'm quite happy with her eyes at the moment. We'll come back to them. Enchanted. Right. Coffee. Can add a little bit of colour underneath the eyes, like, you know, like we used to do when we smudged out like a blue eyeliner in the 80s and things. But that's, you know, it's total preference. I want to tone this down, so I'm going to actually use the colourless blender now, and we're going to blend them colours in just a little bit. Or I tell you what, I might add a touch of white. No, because I'm going to do that on the hair. So I wanted to show a few different sort of techniques in this. Just soften that a little bit. So anything that you don't is a bit scraggly looking, you can blend out with a colourless blender. As I just said, this is the Prismacolor one that I'm using at the moment. There we go. That's softened. Right, that's softened the colours together. So now what I want to do is go back in and put some more detail in it. It is kind of rinse and repeat. What you're doing is, like, if you've lost something, put it back in. If it's too dark, you can tone it down. By just building up those colours slowly, it comes together, but it is slowly. I will tell you, it is slowly. You've got to have a passion for colouring to use pencils in this way. There's loads and loads of tutorials out there doing it in different ways. See, at the moment I'm going side to side. A lot of people, if they want to lay down lots of colour on white, will go round and round in circles. I don't want to build my colour up on top of each other and mix those colours. So I'm going to go for this warm one now, which is 1013 again, and just add a little bit of that in, and then we'll tone it down again. So I'll blend it again, which is good because you can use the blender. It makes the Prismacolor. Yeah, good question. The Prismacolor people. I don't know, let me have a look at the box. What's it say? I don't know. I don't know. Let's have a look at one of the boxes. I don't know, just a Prismacolor. I think if you Google search it, it's obviously foreign. Go on and Google search. I don't know. I don't work for them. I just like using it. I don't put commission links up, but I'm sure if you go in and Google search, you will find out. But a lot of pencils are made abroad. There we go. Just tone that down a bit. They're widely available as well. There you go. Right, and there is loads and loads of tutorials out there using Prismacolor, which is good because, you know, if you want to follow certain people, you can stick with the colours that they use for things until once you've been using something for a fair amount of time, you just go for the colours that you know and you go for the numbers. Right, got that, happy with that. I want to add her eyelashes and her freckles. So I'm now going to go with the Prismacolor Pc947. And I want to sharpen that. So this is quite a dark brown, it's burnt umber. I use it a lot. Dark umber, sorry. Put that in. Just going to sharpen that. No problem, Linda. There we go. Really nice sharp point. And be gentle with this because I want to put that line back in. So I'm following the line out softly. And the same on this side. And just underneath. And again on this side. And then we can add more eyelashes if we want. Oh, bottom fish bananas. Press too hard. This is where I'd probably reach for the Faber-Castell normally. Faber-Castell brown one to do like the eyelashes. When I want that fine detail. It's a harder pencil. There we go. You know, everything has its purpose. There's lots of different brands that do different things. But I say if you go for a pencil that is too soft, everybody says, you know, if it blends too easy, you're not going to be sharpening it quite a lot. But it's not until you try these things that you realise. Okay, so she's got extra eyelashes in there, extra detail, and I think she's looking quite pretty now. Okay, let's do some freckles. He was born in 1954. Well, he's older than me, Kay. That's Adam and the Ants. So we're just going to randomly put a few little freckles on her cheek. We could have gone a lighter one. We could do a mixture of this one and the lighter brown as well. We'll add a couple to a bridge of her nose. And across onto her cheeks there. Also helps disguise whether or not you've got the cheeks sort of in proportion and the colours. And then I'm going to blend with the colourless blender that little bit that's annoying me up the top there. Okay, so at the moment I've got the majority of the colour what I want on there. I will hold it up so you can see in a minute. Quite look. There we go, let's see. You can see that a little bit better. So she's starting to come together. Lighting here is absolutely rubbish. You see that when it cuts up? Prismacolor are made in the USA. Now I want to sing that other song, Alison. Did you Google search that? So you see how she's starting to come along. The nose looks quite sweet there. Happy with that. Right, let's get on with the hair. This is really, really easy. Mouthful of coffee. Check the time. So, move those pencils. This is when I'm going to blend with the white. So I'm going to start with, I don't need the greens, so I can put you over there. And you. I have a selection of blues and violets and turquoises and lime greens because they are colours that I love to use. And we have Prismacolor, no, we don't have the Faber-Castell 247, and you can't even see because it's that far down. It's quite a dark bluey purpley one. We have a Prismacolor which is 905. We have 989, my favourite lime green, and we have True Blue, which is 903, and we have a violet blue, which is 933, and then we have 1027. So all bar one are Prismacolors, and move the pinkies up there. And I am going to start with using a middle colour, which is, so if we was to put the colours like in darkness to lightness, we're going to have a middle, so I've got sort of a couple of middles there. Is that right? Yeah, middle-ish colour. So we are going to use the 903. Okay, and I'm going to just lay some colour down in lines, not in circles, in lines, like it was hair. Doesn't matter which way around you do it. It's totally up to you whether you want to go light to dark or dark to light, or mix around whichever colours you want. Just go loose and experiment. What I do like to do is do dark around the outside of hair, which I will go back, but as you can see, I'm hitting the parchment, as i.e. the craft card, just the surface. I'm not going in strong with the colour, just getting some lines down there. Don't worry about going over the stamped image too much. Remember, you can do that trick and put the detail back in, or you can kind of make it your own if you cover it, because we are going to go in with lots of colour on here. So that's that one. Looking good, thank you. I looked on the back of my tin. I got rid of my tin because I altered it a while back, and I kind of liked my tin. You got the tin where it's 72 stacks up. I got the long box as well, but as soon as I tipped that over, they were all going to go all over the place. Because I used to use the tin for the TV, whereas the long box used to stay at home. Plus, when I've got one that shrinks down, I know to replace that and put it in the other one. So now I'm going to go in with the darkest colour, which is the Faber-Castell, and I'm going to use this, which around the outside of hair. I'm going to try and do it a little bit different to the one that I've done, but similar. So I'm going to add the dark to the edge, which will also start to frame her face, and you'll see exactly what I mean when I cover it up in a minute. So go around the outside of her face. There you go, a bit more there. There you go, and just let them stretch. I'm going to sharpen that so I get fine lines. If I wanted light to come back through, if I was using white, then I can scratch out some colour. But because I'm using the brown and I'm colouring it in blues, I don't want to scratch out the colour and reveal the cardstock underneath. So again, that's a good tip of saving your pencils. Right, around the outside edge, get that a little bit stronger around, almost framing her face again. There we go. And these are kind of like finishing touches that I usually go back in and keep faffing about with later, but I wanted to get that edge where I'm happy with that for now, just to show you what I mean. Okay, so if I do that, and wait while my PC catches up with me, and you can see half of the face at the moment with that line on there, and then soon as I take it to the other side, like that, you can see the difference. So once you start to get that hair on, she really starts to look something. Let me just move the camera just slightly, see if we can just zoom in a little bit more. Is that better? What's that? But the light is in. Is that in? See if that's better. She's looking weird. Oh, let's see, are we in the right area there? Yeah. I think my light is a bit too strong. Let's go with that. That's a bit better, I think. Let's see. Yay! That's better. So you can see once you cover it up and you go from the other side, how different it looks when you start to get that hair on. So this is my dark line. I'm going to go where all these wiggly twiggly bits are. I'm going to go around there with my dark pencil, kind of just wiggle around as if it was hair and as if it was darker sort of shadows in the hair. And then we'll do also these little lines that I put in around the wiggly twiggly bits. Wiggly twiggly bits. And again. Don't want to go too far over the top of it, and I'll speed this process up now because I'm going to add some strands of hair, some flicks of hair, the way that I would naturally think it would flow. There you go. Leaving plenty of space for the other colours to come in because we want multicoloured hair in there. Some strands coming down. And down this side we'll start to frame her face here as well. Drink time. Thank you, Mary. Sorry, what paper are you using? Sorry, I didn't see that, Philippa. It's craft card. So I used to sell a lot of paper and cards. This was actually Dolly Dimples, but it's readily available and I just didn't see the point in me selling it anymore when there's so many people that do. I'd rather stock up on the other goodies. And the price of paper's shot up. But I decided before then that keep to my core colours. Add some in there. Right, let's get some jazzy colours on there. Sorry, if I've missed any comments or any questions, please shout again. All it takes is me to be looking down and I'm missing them. Okay, got little strands going up the way. So again, I'm not going round and round in circles because I know, Rain, because that would fold the parchment in. Right, now let's get some of the turquoises in there. So we're going to go with one of the lighter ones. This one is 905, again a Prismacolor one. We'll start to add the turquoise. So same direction, going from the roots of a hair or a parting and down. I can add the lighter colours later, the shadows in, if I've not filled in too much that space. So let's get some of that colour in. Drag that down, keeping it quite loose and not trying to make it too realistic. There we go, some of that colour in there and around here. Okay. And down the face, in between. Just, it's really quite scribbly, very loose with the colours because we want them all to kind of blend together, but not straight away. Right, okay, let's grab some lighter colours. So we can start to add the lighter colours. Now because this is because this is the lime green and it's a lighter colour, when I start going over the top of other colours, it will start to, this is why I brought the camera further down, it'll start to pull them colours together and kind of blend them a little bit. So I don't want to go too much with this or it will take over. Do it in stages, and then we'll add some white as well, which will lighten it down. So I know it sounds really bizarre, but it's a lighter colour and it'll take over. It just does, but it's a light bright colour. Just a little bit in there, unless you want lots of lime green in the hair, but I kind of want it to be little bits of light coming through opposed to an actual sort of solid colour that's in her hair. So as if she's gone to one of these really posh places and had multicoloured hair. It's proper festival looking. Okay, so that's the light green one, and then I'm going to go back to the middle one. We're going to start to sort of, it sounds daft, but we're going to start to put the roots back in and kind of darken it up a little bit. So we'll go strong on the roots, and that's not the darkest colour because we're going to add a little bit more to it. So now you see, whenever I do prep for the TV and I use pencils, how long it takes me. Just one of these things, whether you want to do it or not, but if you want the cheat and you want to use the alcohol pens or your watercolour first, obviously make sure they're dry, put them on and go back in over the top with your pencil. You actually, you know, will use a lot less and it's a lot quicker, which I know a few of you have seen me do that a few times, and I'm sure I will do it again and again and again. But always got to think there's always somebody out there that hasn't seen some techniques or wants a little bit of guidance. So, how's she looking, guys? Is she getting there? A few more strands in there. Really nice of you to join me on an extremely hot evening. Oh, down there. Just wiggling it in. I'll flick up from there. Right, now I'm going to add some light to it. I'm going to use my brilliant, thank you, looking fab, thank you, you are still here. I'm going to add my white. This is my luminous. Again, there is Prismacolor and Feather Castell, both do white. I just happen to really like this. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the flowers in her flower band. Now, I remember my cousin getting married and she actually walked down the aisle barefooted with flowers on her feet and flowers in her hair just like this. And when I was a kid, we went to concerts and things all over the place. It was born in the 70s, so you can imagine my mum was a hippie chick. I went to a few in Deeply Valley, which is not too far from where I live now actually. And I remember having flowers put in my hair there. I think I've only been about 3 or 4, but I do quite remember quite a few of them. Oh, sounds like there's thunder outside, or it's the traffic. Right, so just filling in a little bit of the flowers in white, but then I'm not doing it solid because I want to add another colour to it. So, and I'm not trying to be too precise on it because I've gone over the line out. But remember, you could stamp her out again, or have another one at, you know, at the side, or look at the stamp, or look at the acetate to roughly get an idea of where these bits are. I'm just going to use them all as being flowers rather than leaves, or yeah, like petals coming off. Do the same. So I want to get these in before I start going heavily with blending the hair, otherwise I will lose it because there'll be too much colour on there. And if you can see that it's not white because there's colour underneath, let's just have a couple of little wigglies up here, so kind of bringing the illusion of that coming back in again, rather than it being a colour. But I'm going to add colour to it as well. So there we go. So it could be like shadows, could be like highlights, Oh, a wee flower there. And we'll have a twiddly one here. And you don't have to stay in the lines. You really don't have to stay in the lines. How's that looking? She's looking different. She's not looking exactly the same, but we're getting the Faber-Castell. So I've got polychromes. Are yours the same? Yes, yes, they are. If you've got those, quite not cheap, honey, not cheap, but they're a lot harder than the Prismacolor. But I do like mixing them, and they've got their place. They're kind of like the Rolls Royce of pencils, you know, price wise. But just depends what you like. It's not always about. They do last a lot longer, but they are a little bit harder on the hands, if you know what I mean. But great for fine detail, and that's why I use them a little bit more. Should I say? Right, now I'm going to use the white again, and this time I'm adding the light bits. But as I do, I'll lift it up in a minute so you can see. It's dragging across the colour. Don't want to do it completely everywhere, otherwise you lose some of the colour. And I want to go back in and add some darker bits as well. So add a bit of light, add a bit of dark, until you're happy with it. And it kind of moves this colour about and blends, which is quite cool. Let's just kind of drag. Don't want too much white down here, because this would actually be naturally dark down there, but we'll have it sort of in the middle area. There we go. I'm not thinking about where the light's coming from or anything. I'm just thinking about getting a mixture of colours in there. I'll lift it up in a second. I think that's actually a perfect one to show you. Let's get that wiggle back in there. So if I lift that up a little bit higher, I've got those pencils and they're great, they are fab. But I love mixing all my different products. So you can see now where I've used this white, it's not solid white, it's actually mixing in the two colours. Remember when we went to school and if you were making pink, you use white and red to make pink, but it made it kind of like pastel. It's a little bit like that. You're going over and you've got that pastel blue, the pastel green going in there, but it's almost like adding light. So what I want to do is add some more dark to these little areas here where I can see the parchment is still kind of naked and it's just building up so much colour, but it is time consuming. All you that use that was a bit wrong, wasn't it? All that use them know how long it takes to fill it in. You know, you do as much or as little as you want. So I've just add a little bit of dark in there again, and just really kind of random and loose until I've got what I'm happy with. And again, walk away from your work, look at something else and come back and look at it. Sounds bizarre. Look at it with fresh eyes. I'm actually going to add this dark pencil just where these strands would be, so it's showing that it's not just flowers in her hair, it is actually a band. And then we're going to add that to, I mean, I could go pink if I wanted, back where the line art is, just roughly going over the top of it, so it's all nice and loose. It's not exactly where the line art is, kind of doing your own thing on there and just colouring it in really loose and free, if that makes sense. So I quite like this style because you don't have to concentrate too much. Well, I'm going to concentrate a little bit more because you guys are here. So just down a little bit more dark in there, and a little bit darker. Come on, don't go too solid or there will be nowhere for the rest of the colour to go. Okay, now I want to add a little bit more of the green, the lime green in there, just a touch. And same over here, maybe a bit in there, and a little bit more dark at the other side. I think I've neglected this side, so a few more darker strands in there, just kind of building it up. And this is a process that as long as I know the colours, this is why I usually write the colours down. If I go off, I don't know, make a coffee, come back or whatever, potter about, do something else and pick it up later, I can go back and I can add more of those colours if I want. Yeah. I'm quite liking her. There is quite a bit more work to do on her hair. But just the same technique repeatedly until we're happy. Let's add colour to the flowers now. So I'm going to take a bright pink colour, which is again a Prisma, which is 994. I'm going to sharpen that a little bit more, again with my trusted sharpener. They are expensive. I have her. They are expensive. I have her stamps to try. She's beautiful. What are expensive? The pencils. There we go. Right. I don't know, we're using the Luminates quite a bit with the day. They're a little bit softer. It's like 3 different stages. Oh, they really do blend nicely. Okay, this is pink, and I'm going to add a touch of that colour, because I didn't go solid where the white is, to where I put the flowers. So I can do a hit and a miss. Some I can do pink, some I might leave white, but I'm not doing it solid, so there's still little bits of white in there. And I'm really not concentrating on being within the lines or anything. I'm turning those little fallen bits into petals rather than leaves, and just adding a little touch of colour. And because I've done the pink in her hair, on her flowers and things, just pop in a few random bits down here, because I can, and over the other side. Again, you want to look at the bottom fish bananas. You want to have a look at the line art to see where the flowers are. You can do. I'm just randomly placing that colour. Because I've added the pink up there. Oh, do down that side, Charmain. That's a bit. I'm going to do the same with her dress down here. So we're going to go with the same white. Getting there, and just lay that colour over the top. You can go into each petal sort of thing, or fluff if you want to call it fluff on the top of a dress. But I'm just laying a little bit of colour down. I'm not bothered about the line art disappearing on that. And I'll add almost like little sort of bursts of stars on this one, so make it more look like fluffy bit to the top of a dress. Just something a little bit different, really easy. You could go in with little gems, you could go in with a sparkle pen over the top, jazz it up a little bit as well. You know, there's lots and lots of options that you can do. There we go. Just thought I'd do sort of random dib-dabs on that one. Okay, and the bottom bit of her dress, we're going to stick with the same pink. Let's just move those over. Move her up a little bit. So I'm going to start off with I'm actually going to go for magenta. So I've got magenta, which is 930, just underneath the fluffy bits. I'll put that in. I'll tell you what I didn't do, which I usually do. So again, it's not completely covered. I'm going to take the Faber-Castell, which is the 247, and just do a wiggle just underneath that sort of fluffy or flowery bit there. Usually my chosen colour, but I haven't got it out, is the indigo blue from Prismacolor one, which if you want to know the number for that, I should know that number off the top of my head. Well, I even went and ordered an extra 3 of them because I use them all the time. Or even the dark blue, which is which is 901. That's usually my favourite one of my blues. Just putting a little tiny touch underneath. So I've gone in with the use magenta, and now I'm going to use the Prussian red. I can't even say that, Prussian red, which is 994. And I'm going to put round and round in circles, soft, and I'm not filling the whole lot in underneath that. So it's like bands of colour there. A little bit more because I want that to be more of the colour, and then I'm going to go half on the first red and half off. So I'm blending those two shades together, the red and the pink together. And then bring it down softly down the bottom. And then I'm going to go in with white. So this should be easier to tell. So I like to do it this way. I'm just going to turn it sideways. And I'm just gently taking the colours and dragging the white over the top, which will kind of make that pink. And dragging it out. And then it'll get lighter because eventually it's just going to be white. Okay. Have that. Now we could go round and round in circles for ages and ages with our white pencil over the top, blending those shades together using our white pencil, or we could take, which uses our white pencil, or we could take the colourless blender. Now because it's white, just make sure that you haven't got any other pencil sat on top of it, because it kind of picks up a little bit. The pencils kind of sort of clean it off a little bit. So we'll start with the dark red at the top and we'll go round and round in circles. This is working those in. Now you'll find that it won't be as shiny, so it won't blossom as much when you're doing this. It just depends what look you want. And we'll blend those colours together and out so it's going into the white. Almost like, what do you call it, graduated colours? Ombre. There we go, posh words for tonight. Feeling hot, hot, hot. There we go. So there is no pencil there. Can you see how it's pulling off the pencil? It's taking off. The colourless blender is really, really cool, and you can actually buy them individually. Boom, get in my basket. What a shame I don't stock them. There we go. So if I think that I need to darken any area or anything, I can go in and it's not going to be too shiny. Again, where I've got shiny bloomy going on there, if I want to tone that down on a face, I can use that colourless blender and keep working it until I'm happy with it as well. So it's all cool, it's all cool. So I'm looking at the TikTok now, and I've been on just over an hour. Oh, missing this. Oh, missing this. So that's the one that I did previously. I did that today, and this is the one that I've done tonight. And the difference between the two of them is there was a little bit more time taken on her hair than this one, but achievable. You know, that's what I can achieve in an hour chatting to you guys. Obviously, if you're doing it on your own and you're not chatting away to somebody and trying to read comments, it's going to be a little bit speedier. I think I've spent a little bit more time on her eyes than I did on this one, but then again, not too far off each other, but I'm quite pleased with them. What do you think? Gorgeous. Thank you, Julie, but you'd be biased. And nearly down to the bottom of my coffee. Thank you, guys. I'm going to actually fussy cut these out and make them up, so the other two that I did out of the set. And remember, if you do like them and you haven't got them, I mean, I did this because they've been out, I don't know if it's a couple of months now, but we've done an offer, which I don't usually do this sort of offers on my website, but I'm starting to do offers, where you buy, what is it, 3 for 2? Yes, you pay for 2 and you get 1 free. So they're up there, and I think the link's on. Yes, the link is on because I think Jane put it on earlier for me, so the link is in here somewhere on there for them, but they're on the Dolly Dimples website. So those are the free girls. I'm going to cut them out and build them up, but as I said, there's lots of other stamps in there to build up a scene and things like that. So I'm going to say good night, take care. If you are sitting in the sunshine, remember, if you're using a factor 50, it's check what the burn time is, because it means you've got 50 minutes of burn time, if that makes sense. And if the burn time is 30 minutes, then you've got something like that. Read up on that. It's well worth knowing. I always forget it, but it means you can only sit out there for X amount of time, and it doesn't matter if you put it back on again. So look after your skin, guys, It's hard to replace it. Bye.